Hi, Mike with you. TV shows. So there's these two shows I want to mention, Outlast and The Summit. So one's on Paramount Plus and the other one's on Netflix. I'll put it on which one is which because now that I've started talking, I forgot. And it's on my phone that I'm filming with. But anyway, so the CBS shows of Survivor and the History Channel show alone, if they got together and had a baby, they'd end up with one of these shows, okay? Certainly Outlast. So Outlast takes 4 teams, sets them in the wilderness, and they've got tarps, they've got an axe, they've got a compass, and and some other things, okay? It's not like they're, out with nothing, okay? So each team has like these number of people on it. And so the whole point is that you have to remain on a team by the end of the competition to win a portion of that money. So in other words, if all these, I don't know if there were 16 or 20 people, whatever, if all of them got together on one team that first day and said, we're done, they would have taken that, I guess, $1 million, and maybe they couldn't do that, but you know what I'm saying. They would have each gotten a piece of that $1 million. So the idea is lasting longer, but with a team, you hopefully get to the end with fewer people and you get a bigger chunk of $1 million. Now, of course, just as you watch in Survivor, we can always count on when you put human beings together, there's going to be all this drama, all this ridiculous, the alliances, the crap and everything, which some people like to watch. I don't. My wife loves Survivor. I don't. We both like Alone, though. So this show's in between. But I would say that Outlast and The Summit are more like the show Survivor in a way, because it's teams, it's strategies, it's things are thrown in, challenges, right? Things you wouldn't necessarily meet in the wild. In other words, if you're all of a sudden, stuck in the wilderness area, you're probably not going to find this makeshift bridge that's just got about ropes left over a gorge, and you've got a piece of safety equipment to attach to you so you don't fall down on the rocks below, right? So Outlast, they're doing these things. They run into these obstacles. They can vote people out. And so, of course, everybody gets upset about who gets voted out, who doesn't get voted out. And, people play their cards wrong. I can remember, I didn't like Survivor much, but I watched some of it. But there were some episodes where the person who won it was basically just an honest, straightforward person. And they didn't do, stabbing people in the back all the time and stuff. But that's the game. And that's always interesting. Oh, it's a game, so we can lie and cheat and steal. And it doesn't matter. And it's like, that's the question. When you're talking about someone getting $1 million or part of $1 million, is it really a game or not? That's up, I guess, to individual contestants to decide. But so, I'll tell you about the first guy on Outlast. Okay, one team's already said, there's 4 teams, there's 2 on each side of this waterway, okay? And so they decide, one team's like, we want to play nice. We want to, we want other teams to respect us, and we want to kind of do the right thing, and we don't want to get people angry at us. So what does this guy do? This guy goes over, visits them, and right in front of him, he dumps all their water containers out, and he takes off with them. No one stops him, but it's like he comes back, and the other team's like, oh, God, what did you do? So they immediately vote him off. Now, once you vote someone off, they have 24 hours to join a team. If they don't get on another team in 24 hours, they automatically flare out. Well, where's this guy going to go? He's not going to swim across the waterway at this point. The water's too cold. They don't have a raft or anything like that. So, and he knows the other team's going to take him after he did that. So he flares out. So it's, it's like that. And they have all these challenges, and different things, and I don't know. It's so hard to tell what people are doing or not doing because of the editing. But one team, it looks like, is sitting and waiting. And, you know, just sitting and waiting work. You'll have to watch the show to find out. But, you know, at one point they dropped 2 boats in with some fishing gear. And so there's a boat for, at that point, there's only 2 teams left. And so there's a boat for each team, basically. So, you know, a team goes out completely. They go over and get the goods, you know, bring them back. So then they have 2 hatches and this and that. But then, you know, what happens in the show Survivor when they have a tie and they can't break it somehow? A lot of times they resort to, let's make friction fire. So if you go on any survival show on TV and you can't do friction fire, you haven't been killing yourself learning how to do it, you're in for it. You get up that high and someone says, oh, you're tied. Let's have a contest and see who does friction fire first. You know, you're not going to do it that first time there. And you've seen some of these people. One guy, this was on Survivor, he knew he was going to be up against this last person. So he spent most of the previous day just working on friction fire. You know, going to over and over until he, you know, and sure enough, they have the competition. He goes, he starts the fire, and the other guy's still stumbling. He wins all the money. And they had a compass too and a map in this Outlast. And again, why would you go out in the wilderness not knowing how to use a map or use a compass? And it's like they kind of didn't know how to use the compass. You know, what can I say? They shouldn't have done that. But anyway, there's those 2 shows. I think to Summit, well, I forget which is which, but like I say, it will probably appear here. Some wise gentleman who edits this later will put it in here. But on Netflix, while you're there, if you're watching one of these series, I don't watch this again, but we watched it. I think it was 2019 or 18 that they did this. It's called Churchill Secret Agents, the new recruits. So basically, this is, you know, this is going to be the forerunner, what he's doing to MI6, to, you know, let me think of some other things, you know, CIA, all those sorts of things. The precursor is, well, we've kind of started something in the U.S., but what Churchill is doing, you know, the war's going on, and it's bad, right? And, you know, they're running out of people, so they're recruiting civilians, and they run them through this really intense course and then drop them behind enemy lines. But it works really well. So these new recruits have to do something. And I'll just pick one of the things because, you know, I'm in ham radio. One of them is they have to learn Morse code. So they basically have to learn it in that one day. And sure enough, I would say both teams learned it to an extent that they could have probably completed their mission. Because, you know, they've done the message, and then, you know, you can go back and kind of correct because, you know, it's like you having a puzzle with, you know, a few of the letters missing. You can put them in, and usually you're going to get the correct one. So, you know, that was impressive. They had to learn to pick locks. They had to learn to place explosives, you know, climb up sides of, you know, mountains, and all these different things they had to do. And so masses of these people, Churchill recruited, you know, the English recruited the United Kingdom, and they went in and they made a really big difference. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them were caught, tortured, and killed. This is real war, right? This isn't a game. But I thought it was interesting, and to see these modern people kind of trying to fit in trying to get a feel for what these people might have gone through. But of course, like they have one task where they basically have to approach this building without being seen by the guard that's going around. So, of course, in real life, if the guard actually saw you, you would be shot and killed, or maybe tortured and killed, you know. They had this thing that if you get caught, you were supposed to not talk for 24 hours. After that, they said, talk all you want, tell them everything. But hold out for 24 hours, because that time we'll figure out that something's happening. We'll know what's going on. And they even had, this is a sad case, but it happened. There were certain security words that had to be included in every message. And they caught this, they would catch the radio operators, because they've got these big radios. They're not battery operated. And, you know, there's, you know, a suitcase big, and they plug in, and they have an antenna. So the Germans could find some of these quite quickly, at least until they had batteries. But so at one point, they capture a radio operator, and they force him to send messages. And even though he's smart, he doesn't include all of the passwords, and the people receiving the message don't catch it. And all of these people are caught and killed that are in this network of people, because the people back home didn't remember if the word, I can't imagine them saying something like, you know, Winston Churchill is fat. That had to be in there or something. Or if that wasn't in there, they knew that that wasn't a real message. So, you know, but that was sad, because I guess a lot of people lost their lives because the headquarters didn't follow their own protocol and didn't see that the words were not there that needed to be there, that showed that the radio operator was in fact captured. And I said some of these radio operators only lasted 2 weeks before they were captured and killed. At one point, because they were battery operated, see, I'm ham radio, so that's why I know more about this. They would, the Germans say there was someone, they knew that radios were emanating from a city, they could shut off different parts of the city. So, you know, the message is going on, they're listening to it, they just kept switching power until it goes off. When it goes off, they have that area of the city, they know that the person is there. And, you know, later on, they're going to have the batteries, which are going to make it a lot more difficult. Then people are going to be able to operate from anywhere. The radios are still fairly bulky. They have to have an antenna that goes up in a tree or something. But then, at least, they can go up there, send their message or receive a short message, and, you know, skedaddle out of there, because there could be a possibility, even with the battery, that the Germans, you know, the Nazis, could triangulate with the signal and figure out where they were. But, you know, in this scenario, they're doing a short message and they're moving as quick as they can. But anyway, I think that's a very interesting show to watch. And going along with that one, there's the movie, 2 versions of the movie. The older one is The Man That Never Was, and then Operation Mincemeat. That's the newer one. And this is, you know, they put some personal relations in it that aren't really there, but the basics of the plot are real. But they concoct a plot to confuse, you know, Hitler about where they're going to attack through. And they actually get a dead body. They put papers on it, and then they put it out to sea. And this, you'll see the elaborate things that they did to prepare this thing, to prepare background for this person, and the elaborate things that happened afterwards, and how this one person, even though, you know, he was never alive at the time it was being used, was like a hero of World War II, and created an enormous advantage for the Allies for attacking and, you know, ending World War II so much quicker. And it was all about this the man who never was, or like I say, this corpse in the water that had papers, that had a uniform, and all of these different things. So I think that's really interesting to watch. I guess I kind of like the newer one better, but like I say, I read about the actual case, and they have some romances in the newer one. That some of the descendants of the people, they're still, still here, said, oh no, that never happened. But they put things in like that in movies to make them interesting. But anyway, there you go. Outlast, The Summit. The Summit's in New Zealand. Outlast is in Alaska. And of course, Churchill's Secret Agents is in, I believe is actually happening in London. Not London, but in the United Kingdom. They could be in Europe. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check. I'm going to watch it again. But there we go. Bye.